Now we're going to shift gears and talk about Hearts and Hands for Humanity. Alan and Tish will join us on set. The work that they do is God's work.
Yeah.
And over there making a difference. And I just love the humanitarian effort and the giving hearts of the Vasayo community. It's been a few years since I've been over there. I was supposed to go on this last trip, but some COVID stuff, right? So I missed that trip, but I'm looking forward, Alan, to going in April.
Yes.
I want to go over there and see some wells and help drill another well. And what are the dates? Have we decided for sure? I know we have because I've already bought my flight. But do you remember off the top of your head what the date is?
We're going to share a slide that we've got with the dates for everybody, but share with everybody the dates of the next trip.
It's April 10th. We'll arrive in country through April 18th. We'll depart. So coming quick.
If you want to go over with us in April, I know Charlie and Debbie Calb reached out the other day and said we're going to go. So I sure hope so. And how many seats are available?
We've got about 10 more open.
About 10 more. And if you're interested in going to Africa in April on the next excursion, Alan, how do they reach out?
You can just send me an email at alan@heartsandhandsforhumanity.org. Best way to contact us.
So I'm going to keep my remarks short here because I'm so anxious for you to watch the documentary. It's going to speak for itself. But Daniel, you were just over there a few months ago. Take a couple minutes and share. And then I think we're getting into the documentary.
Absolutely. You know what I would love to do? I would actually love to roll into the documentary right away. And then after that, I'll share my experience. I want to bring a couple people up. We've got a guest who flew in all the way from Africa, yes. Katie, and she's a special soul. And I love Katie. She treated us amazing over there, and she's got so much life and spirit about her. She's never been to the United States, and she just landed in the U.S. Last night. Thank you, Alan and Tish, for making that happen, for making those arrangements. And thank you for Katie for flying all the way over here. And I want to share some of my experience, and I want to recognize a gentleman that was instrumental, Joseph, in putting this documentary together. Joseph did an amazing job, but I don't want to wait any longer. I want to roll directly into a recap, a film, really a piece of artistry. It's a piece of art what Joseph created to take all of what's happened the last 4 or 5 years and put it into one video. I hope you enjoy it as much as we do.
The greatest thing about Tanzania is the people.
Amen.
They just have so little, but yet they're so happy.
The kids in Africa make the whole trip. They are so incredible. Here in the United States, when you see children, they have their space. But in Africa, they don't know bubbles. They don't know what a bubble is. They are in your face, they're on your lap, total strangers. They'll come and hold your hand. They want you to go home with you.
Vasayo, for the first 4 years of their existence, has donated for over 110 clean water wells. Think about it, 110 wells. It's probably over 400,000 people now have access to free, clean water because of our partnership with Vasayo. What a tremendous blessing it has been. I think a lot of these people, they see these brand new wells pop up and they don't know where they come from until they look at that plaque. And so they begin to recognize Vasayo as having provided them this clean water at no cost to them. It provides hope for them that there's somebody that they don't even know somewhere in the world that cares enough about them to donate. And so knowing that somebody in the world cares about them enough to donate and provide that water, I think really instills within them the fact that they're not alone in this world.
take babies in that have been abandoned, thrown out. We lose a lot of moms in this country. Moms die in childbirth at a really high rate. And if they don't have a father there to take care of them, most of the men can't take care of these babies.
In the almost 9 years that we have been doing this, we have helped about 350 babies. By the grace of God, we've been able to save almost all of them.
We've had babies dropped in latrines. We've had babies left in front yards. We've had them dropped on a porch.
Babies abandoned by the river. We've had babies abandoned in gravel pits, newborns with the umbilical cord still attached.
We had one that was dropped in an open pit latrine. They tell us he'd been in there probably almost 3 days, was almost gone. And he did have maggots in his ears. We had to take him down and have those out.
We had one little boy who had a number of broken bones, cuts and scars. You know, he was abused.
We've had him dropped on the road. We had one dropped on the road and they tried to cover him up. He was basically buried. Someone hurt him. Thank God they hurt him. One of our latest ones was 800 grams when we got him. Not even a pound. Smallest baby we had. We didn't think he would survive.
You should see that baby now.
So we take our groups over there to love on these babies. These babies have everything. They have food, they have shelter. The only thing they don't have is a mom and a dad. And kind of rips at your heart when you play with these kids. Yeah. Sorry. But you see the love that these two people started and brought these kids here to rescue them and give them a chance at life. We love to take people there and to see and to feel and to hold these babies and love on them.
When we first moved out here and we didn't have water, we were buying water. Water is totally essential.
We were not aware of Vasayo and Hearts and Hands until my daughter met Verlin.
And she said, "What do you do here?" And he said, "Well, we dig water wells." Kim's eyes brightened up because we were buying this property and there's no water. The city does not come out this far with water. So you say water to us, we're like, whoa.
In our first meeting, when Verlin and I were discussing it, we just said, yeah, we're gonna drill there. I've never been there, but just the spirit was so strong that we needed to provide this orphanage with clean water.
This came as a gift to us. It came as a free gift. You know, we didn't pay for that well. Someone paid for that well, and we thank them for that, you know, because we didn't have the money to drill that well, but we needed the water.
And he came and drilled that well.
It was a very difficult well to drill. It was during the rainy season, and it was a muddy mess, and they could only drill about an hour or two a day because the rest of the day it was pouring down rain.
And now we have fresh, clean water. It's an amazing thing.
So these babies get their formula a number of times a day because of that water. They put on clean clothes that have been washed in that water.
So when we have people like you guys who come and say, that's our mission, to bring water, I just bless God for you. I just pour blessings on you. We couldn't be here without water.
We say, well, that's a God thing, you know, because it brought together two organizations that are trying to do good in Africa. And what a blessing that has been. So how can we say thank you enough? We can't.
There are just no words to say thank you. But I love to tell people, you look at that little baby's face. You look at him taking his bottle with water that you drilled from a well, and that water in that formula, and that smile on that baby's face, that is your thank you. And you know, when you get to heaven someday, there's gonna be kids running up to you saying, you brought me water. You know, you couldn't come and hold me, but you brought me water.
Consumption of contaminated water is the #1 killer of children 5 and under in Africa, on the continent of Africa. And so it is a life-threatening thing that they live with on a regular basis. In their culture, it's the women who do most of the work. And so every morning it's the women that go out to get the water, and most of the time it's the young girls that they send out. And sometimes they're walking a mile or 2 or 3 to get to some water source, and most of the time it's not even clean, but it is a water source. And so these young girls are not in school. They're out fetching water for the family for the day. These young girls have very little chance of success in life without schooling. So when we're able to provide this clean water in the schools, we have seen that the attendance in these schools has increased sometimes up to 20, 30, 40%, because now these young girls are going to school and they bring the water home with them from school.
At home, do you have clean water?
No.
So what do you do about that?
We go far away from home, 5 hours.
It takes you 5 hours to get
Yes.
clean water?
Yes.
How do you carry it?
We use a wheelbarrow.
And it takes you 5 hours?
Yes.
It's a long distance. It's a long distance, so for the people who have no bicycle or cars, they walk in order to get it.
What do you do if you don't have time to walk 5 hours?
We buy. We buy in the roads. Expensive water.
The water is expensive. One bucket costs 100 shillings.
Water is everything, because you can't talk about life without involving water.
Without water, we cannot live.
Clean water is very, very crucial, very, very important to our life.
But the problem is paying the bill. Like in my house, I haven't paid the bill for three months, which is terrible. They cannot stop me using water.
Sometimes we have got money, sometimes no money.
There's some people, they drink it dirty because the water is far or very distant from their home.
They get health problems like diarrhea, cholera, and other diseases. My friend got sick. He drank that water, and that water make him sick with malaria.
The challenge is paying the bill. When I hear about this project, I'm proud of it. Everybody was happy, very curious to know where this project come from and how they know that we are in need of water.
This project, it will save for the whole community. The students, as the students, will get this water from there. Our neighbors, they also will get it.
The water will help us.
I'm so grateful for these guys.
We are so grateful. We are so happy.
Even me, I'm happy.
God will bless them, and they will be successful in their lives, and they will be better all the days. That is what I can say.
We are very, very thankful for them.
What they are giving us is something which is exceptional. So this comes from God. Yeah? This comes from God.
Thank you very much for coming to our school and bringing this project.
The only thing we can do for them, just praying for them.
I have nothing to say about this because it is beyond of my capacity. Having a big project like this in our school, and the aim of having the project is just to assist the members of the community. So that's why I say, Almighty God bless you all.
Wanizunguka
are so wonderful people. I love you.
There's this sweet lady named Martha, and she is just genuine. So Martha began a school where she houses, 20 handicapped students.
She took them into her own home, began to care for them, and to really sustain their life just to start with, and then to teach them, and to help them to learn and to grow and to experience life. But she has accomplished a miracle there, and she's been a part of that really without any help from the government at all.
I'm just giving children the right of being together and also education and food and shelter and the right of being happiness like anybody else in the world. Unaweza, unaweza, unaweza Bwana. Unaweza, unaweza Bwana. Unaweza, unaweza, unaweza Bwana. Unaweza, unaweza Bwana. Watupenda, 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 watupenda Bwana. Watupenda, watupenda Bwana. I have my young brother who was mental illness, and he started to scream, to beat people with a stone, and to walk around in the street, and he was beaten, he was getting wounded, he was raped, he was doing all those bad things you know. And there was only one in the family who could talk to him. So I just helped him until he died. And then I put vow in my spirit that Martha, in my life, I will do something to help children with mental challenges. Now I have 20 kids, 10 girls and 10 boys. Some of the parents, they don't accept them. They feel like it's cursed. They feel like it's not theirs. So they just tried to hide them. When they come here, they have to learn some skills which it can help them to have income generating in the future. So I'm sure that there is one day they will go home or to the society, but with some skills.
Actually, I know Martha a couple years ago, before I met Hassan Hans in Vasayo. And I went there to her orphanage, and I found out the job she's doing to help the abandoned kids. But once I met Alan and Valin, Hassan Hans, I told them if they have chance we can see Martha. And then we went to her orphanage and met Martha.
She didn't have water. The pump that she had wasn't working, and it wasn't repairable or something. And so she didn't have water, and that was one of her great fears. She talked about waking up every morning not sure how she was going to feed these children because she didn't have any water. You know, it's one of those times where you walk in and before you even really meet anybody, you just know that you're going to drill a well there. Because of the feeling, the spirit there is so powerful and so welcoming and so loving. It's like, yeah, we're going to drill here. And so we met with her, talked with her a little bit. She showed us around the school. We met some of her students. And then we told her that we were going to drill a well for her.
Who? Me? Here? I was just like, it was just like dreaming. I said, yes, I need that because how we get water from our wells there is so bad because we use fuel to take water from the well. And then we had some water which we have to pay. And it was tough for me. And I said, I really need this help. And I can tell you, this well here, it is not helping me alone now. It's just helping all of our neighbors. So all of them, I just welcome them. I say, you don't have to continue to take that water, and we have this miracle water here. So they just come here.
The kids that they have special needs, they got this help, and it's a very good thing. They're able to touch the soul of the special need kids.
I was so happy. And I remember I told Abdul, I will do whatever I can to help those people who come here to dig that well, to give them food. And they, instead of sleeping in the tent, they will sleep in the house. It's big help because children themselves now, they can pump.
She's very special. We are very proud to have her in the village. You need to have the special heart to do the work she's doing. And we wish all the best to her and those who are helping her.
For sure, I'm so grateful for these amazing people. We didn't expect that. You did good work, and you didn't do for yourself. You just do it because there is a big force in your heart to do so for the people. And this is what God did for the people, for the human. He created himself. So you are creator. You just create life in the world. I'm so happy to have you in my side. I love you. Well, thank you.
There's a building there that is kind of partially built and has been like that ever since I've been going there.
It's a multi-purpose hall. I started it and I depended on contribution to so many people to help me to finish. But it wasn't work because of the life now in the world. So it's just standing there and I'm just waiting for God to help me to find good people to help me to finish. And it's almost 20 million Tanzanian shillings just for roof. Just for roofing, yes. I can show you. When you just hold it, it's just shaking, and I'm so afraid, and I ask assistants not to bring kids here because now it's so dangerous. Because we couldn't even type there. You see, this is just shaking now. You see? You see? Yes. Okay. It is not. Oh, it is not that strong. So if it is tight, then it can stay here.
It became a cause for this group that we had in May, this Vasayo group, to finish this building for Martha and to provide that for her. And it's because of the spirit that the people felt. It's because of the love that they felt for her and for her children. And so it was decided among the group that we would finish that building for her.
Martha.
Yes.
Last week we came to visit you, and you touched our hearts. You touched all of our hearts forever, and we'll never forget that visit. And what we felt from you, it inspired us, and we wanted to give back. And we've reached out around the world, earned enough to build you a roof.
Give you this plaque and just to remember that you put on our hearts to come help you, and God just sent us here for you and you for the children. There you go.
Oh God, thank you so much. Yes, and now I believe that God is a supplier of our needs. Thank you, God. Oh, Jesus, yes, thank you so much. I didn't expect that in my life. Oh, thank you so much. You are so wonderful. God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will make a way. Yes, he will make it.
Thank you, Martha.
The lifestyle of the people is that we live with the poor people. So most of the people here around cannot afford to have a good house, and they cannot afford to get their water, clean water in their houses. Generally speaking, the people here have average of income of less than $1 a day. Less than $1 a day. So can you imagine a person going for a casual labor, getting some little money to get something to eat and make the family survive? He has to struggle a lot. They live a life which is, I call it, very desperate. Normally people here live with their livestock. They have chicken, sheep, goats, and cow, and they live with a small hut. They create them with small huts, and some live with them inside their rooms, right? And so they share almost everything, you know. We used to get a lot of dysentery. People used to suffer stomach, and especially children who comes to the church, they were using dirty water, and they used to get sick often.
I live here in Kahe village, 20,000 houses, and in 20,000 houses, probably 80 to 10 houses, they have water tap service. Before we found Hudson Hens and Vasayo, the women used to go long distance to fetch water. And it can take them the whole night, because we used to have this government water tap in the village, and they used to have maybe one water tap in the whole village. So you can see, as I told you, the big population in the village, 28,000 people with one water tap or two water taps. So there is a long line of women waiting to fetch water. So they spend hours there. If they take much time, their husband, they think that they're cheating, because they are taking longer to fetch water and come back. So they think that they're cheating, and many marriages divorced. It was a big problem. In our culture, the kids has to learn how to help their families. They need to do domestic stuff, like go fetch water, take the cow and goes to get grass. Sometimes they kidnap, sometimes they raped. It used to happen. It's a bad thing, but it used to happen. So we have these problems of the kids to go far to fetch water.
Children, the mothers, they used to walk a lot of way to get water. And in the middle way in my office, I used to get a lot of problems that like rape, beating of children, avoiding classes, or others, they don't attend at all. Usually in my community, there is a lot of child labor. Like a girl in the morning, she had to do some work, like go and fetch water. On the way, there are these people who are not good. They rape her, and there are a lot of early pregnancy to those girls. And you can find they couldn't attend school, the family just couldn't take them. Some of them, they are being thrown out of the house. Some of them had died while giving birth because they're very young.
Yeah, before Hudson Hens for Humanity or Vasayo, most people, they dig water down like 20 feet, but the 20 feet water is not good for the use of the human.
The wells that were dug very shallow, with a drill of water which is deep, we are not getting the water that is on the top surface layer, where we can also share with the toilets. Remember, our environment is that we have pit latrine toilets. It's very easy to connect shallow dug wells with these pit latrines, and so the water table mixes up all these things and makes people take very dirty water. So with the deep drilled water, Then we go deep and get the clean water, which is cannot share with the top surface layer of the water.
When the wells were drilled, it was very good. At first, the community couldn't believe, because there are so many people, they just come and say, I'll do this, and it's undone. So when they came and started doing that, it gave hope to my community. And also the rate of diseases caused by taking unproven water, which is not medicated, it reduces the rate of diseases.
After getting the pure water, all the disease has disappeared. There is a few number of people who suffered that diseases. First of all, there was a reduction of diseases which was due to water, like scabies, typhoid, helminthiasis. There is no problem at all. The drilled water has helped a lot of people, because it has do a great contribution for the health of the people.
Once we got these friends from America, Hassan Hens and Vasayo, they helped us to get very deep wells that's 120 feet down. That are very good water.
And also in families, it just gave love. It has given a girl an opportunity to study hard and get the opportunity to go to school at the right time. The unwanted pregnancy cannot happen to the kids at school because they can't do walking out a mile. The rape case has reduced. So it's just a very good impact in my community, and we are very thankful for that.
Now with Hudson Hens and Vasayo wells, it can take somebody 3 to 5 to 7 minutes to get water. We are very lucky to find Hudson Hens for Humanity and Vasayo, because they help us to get water in almost all of our locations. So if you're Muslim, you go to the mosque, you find a well. If you're Christian, you go to the church, you find a well. If you have kids, they go to primary school, they found wells. So people can go there and get water anytime without any problem. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's a good help. It's a blessing. It's a good thing that we don't know, even our government, it can take them how many years to do like Hassan Hens and Vasayo did. Now we have no problems.
This water gave life to people. It's like, wow, God has come. God bless them, and we are very thankful for that. And we are praying, me and my community are praying for that, for them. It's like they are saviors. What they have done is, it's just giving us love, making us experiencing that. So we are very thankful to that.
I very much thank them. I appreciate so much their donation, and as the church, we keep on praying for them, that God may guide them, protect them from all the serious problems. And we pray for their best in their families.
Soccer in Tanzania in general.
Football.
Football on the pitch. I had to learn what a pitch was. That's the field. It's really the only sport they follow over there, and it's big.
It was difficult to run a soccer team in this village before we got these guys from Hassan Hens and Vasayo.
Abdul introduced us to the soccer field, which was just bare dirt. And he told us how the players were all getting injured because it was just dirt, and it was hard dirt.
Our soccer pitch used to be dry. So if you have a new shoe, it doesn't last long. And if you have a new ball, it doesn't last long.
He explained to us that if we were to drill a well on this one spot, it would be able to provide water for a lot of the village, people that live there in the village, and that they could also water the soccer field. And so we fell in love with that idea, And so we provided this well, and so now they've got a tank there and they water the field.
We plant grass and we change, now the pitch is green. And nowadays, once we got the new shoes for the players, it lasts longer. And once we have soccer balls, they last longer. And we have a fence, so the cows, the donkey, they're not going inside the pitch. We can play in a very comfortable way. And lots of people want to come because there is no dust. People come clean, and after the game, they also clean.
When we were there in May, we had a big soccer tournament, our first annual Hearts and Hands for Humanity in Vasayo soccer tournament. They were in the trees watching the soccer match. It was so much fun. It was so much fun to see these young men out there competing on the soccer field and to see the grass that we'd helped to provide. And so water does many other things other than just providing, you know, some clean water to drink and for preparing food.
The sports in this village, it helps a lot because we get a lot of youth, a lot of kids together, so that they cannot go outside and hurt themselves or become thieves or become robbers. So they dedicate most of their time, especially those kids from after school. They come straight to the soccer pitch. They play soccer. We have the coach. So they spend most of their time in the pitch instead of doing bad stuff. The final match yesterday was very excited. So we announced that Alan and Valing and their friends from America, they will be coming. So lots of people want to come and see them and join them and be happy together. And a lot of people was happy to see you guys came to the pitch and join us for the final match. At the halftime, we had these funny games and you guys involved. It was fun, it was good. Although our team didn't win yesterday, we were very happy to reach the final and become the second winner.
It's such an honor to be here in Africa. We have 20 of us flew over, and it's just an honor to be able to witness this tonight. And I want to thank Hearts and Hands for Humanity for the clean water and this amazing soccer field. But I want to congratulate the winning team on winning the championship.
The greatest thing that you can do is just get on a plane and come with us, because that'll touch your heart the most, and that's what the Lord needs, is people that He can touch their heart so that they can have a greater impact long term. Donating is a great way of doing that, but just get on a plane and come with us. That's the greatest thing that you can do and experience.
Here we are. Thank you, God, for your faithful. You are so kind. Thank you, God, for bringing those people. They bless us so much.
Well, there you have it. It's when I watched that for the first time a little over a week ago, I left a message for Daniel and Barkle and said, man, I've seen a lot of documentaries. None of them made me as emotional as the Hearts and Hands Vasayo documentary that Joseph put together. I just, we were talking about a trip to Mexico, and I've taken people all over the world, but the trip I want you to take the most is to Africa. I want you to go over there and see your well, your family well. And I want you to take these kids and spend time with them and love them. It'll change your life. I talked yesterday about my great-great-great-grandfather passing away at the age of 29. But his one-year-old son survived, and hence I'm here. I'm just so grateful for the thin threads of life that allowed me to be born, that allowed me to have a small part in something as goodly and godly as the work that's being done in Africa. It's really the honor of my lifetime. And we're just getting started. There's going to be millions of children drinking water. I don't know how anyone can watch that video and not be crushed, hearing about the kids walking and the moms walking all night in some cases, and the crime and the danger that it creates for the young girls, and maybe some of the older ones as well. Not on Vasayo's watch. We're making a difference. My vision was to bless the lives of millions of people physically, through these products, financially through this business, spiritually through the Hearts and Hands Initiative, showing what a group of committed people can do to change the world, one child at a time. I don't want to take any more time. The documentary speaks for itself. I want to turn the time over to Daniel to introduce our guests that are here with us today, and then maybe make a presentation. Daniel.
Thank you so much, Dallin, and man, what a beautiful job. I want to thank Joel Mitchell from Vasayo Corporate. I want to thank Eric Barkle, who's here with us. Eric Barkle played a big role in our trip over there. Eric and Joel were both on the trip with my wife and I, and Alan and Tish and Verlin and Connie and 20 plus people in May. And I got to tell you, it was life-changing. It was just an amazing trip, an amazing journey. I want to thank Joseph Wilkins up here in the front. If we get the camera on Joseph and show Joseph up here up front. Joseph did an amazing job. This is Joseph's work. It's kind of like a piece of art. You see the signature of the creator on it. This is his work, and he created it. He's a very talented guy. He's done a number of videos for us at corporate, but I want to recognize Joseph. Joseph, he's talented on the product side, and he's talented on his work he does. But he said, you know what, I'm so touched by Hearts and Hands, I want to go over there and I want to volunteer my time to create a documentary piece for Vasayo. He didn't charge us for this piece. He didn't charge us for this work. He didn't charge Hearts and Hands for Humanity. He said, out of the goodness of my heart, something that I want to do. I want to thank him for that. He put endless hours into creating this. You throw together a 38-minute piece, a documentary like this. I remember Barkle sent it to me and said, I want you to see it. And he said, when you see it, it's going to be very, very emotional. And I sat down and I watched it. And he says, try getting through it without crying. And I think I'm a big crybaby to begin with sometimes, as you guys saw yesterday. But probably, 8-10 minutes in, I went, man, it just all hits you. And Joseph's work, it tells the story of what's happening with Hearts and Hands. And for me, it brings it all together. And so we're going to do something special for Joseph to recognize his hard work in a few minutes. I want to recognize Alan and Tish Jackson. They have been steady as a rock, and since the day we announced the partnership, May 29th of 17, the Paris Hotel in Las Vegas, we stood up on stage and said, we've chosen to partner with Hearts and Hands for Humanity. We believe that this was something bigger than Dallin and I had our fingerprints on. Dallin and myself and Carrie and the team, we were looking for the right nonprofit, but there were some things that happened, and no matter what your faith are, it was definitely a God thing, how things aligned and came together, that we were supposed to cross paths with the Harrises and the Jacksons. So I want to thank Tish I want to thank Alan for all their hard work. They just got back from Africa. They actually just landed back in the United States the last 24 hours. I want to thank them for everything that they do. I want to thank Verlin and Connie Harris. Verlin just came out of serious heart surgery, and I shared with everybody yesterday, keep Verlin in your thoughts and prayers. Verlin just got out of surgery. He's doing well. Quadruple bypass. It's not an easy thing to go through. And I was just talking to Tish a few moments ago, and Tish said that Verlin's doing okay, and he's not in a tremendous amount of pain, and he's comfortable. So Verlin, if you get a chance to watch this, you and Connie are our thoughts and our prayers. I want to introduce Katie, who is with us from Africa. And I want to introduce Katie, then I want Katie to share with you some of what she's seen firsthand. She's never been to America. She just got into town yesterday. She's going to be spending some time here. She's going to be able to venture out in America a little bit. But Katie was a big part when we went over in May. She's a photographer, very talented photographer. And it was interesting. My wife made a great observation. I heard Alan say this, and I think I heard Verlin say this as well. Katie has a heart as big as gold, but she's also the kids over there. She's the taskmaster. And, you know, I would throw out a soccer ball and they'd be all jumping on each other. And she'd come over there and speak in the native tongue. And I'll tell you what, when Katie spoke, there could be teachers or different, you know, the schoolmaster saying something. They kind of go, oh, that's the principal or teacher. But when Katie spoke, it was like you'd see them running off in groups of 8 and 10, you know. They didn't want to be on Katie's bad side. And I say all that because from growing up there, there's a tremendous bond and a love there. And Katie was such an amazing, I'd almost call it a tour guide. She was a tour guide on everything we did for that whole week. And it was just so awesome. And she's got such a spirit and life about her. And we were singing. I got so many videos on my phone of Katie singing. We were singing everything from, you know, the Yellow Boat, the Beatles song. We were singing everything, American music. We were mixing it all up. They were teaching us African songs. And I remember Shanna Kurtz and Amy Lafitte and myself and my wife and all of us at the back of the bus. And we had everybody packed in there, and we're just jamming out, singing from place to place. And Katie led a lot of that. So I want to thank Katie for all of her efforts with what we've done with Hearts and Hands for Humanity. It wouldn't be possible, by the way, without the drill teams on the ground. And it wouldn't be possible without people like Katie. So Katie, thank you for flying all the way over here so you could be with us today. And I want you to share what you've seen with the wells, what you've seen with the children, what you've seen with the men, women, children, all the villages. What have you seen the last few years with Hearts and Hands for Humanity?
I mean, first of all, I'm so happy to be here and to share my experience working with Vasayo on this life-impacting documentary, by the way. And yeah, it's an opportunity that I'm very grateful for. And what you guys are doing is it's beyond just water, you know. And there's so many stories, as we all know, like we've seen on the documentaries. But one of the stories that I would like to share is there's Vasayo well. I remember it was 111, and when we went there, we were documenting it, and we interviewed one of the villagers there, and we asked if he can show us the source of water that they get in. And when we got there, it was a very beautiful little river, by the way, and we very green and stuff like that. But even cows and goats use the same water that they've been using, you know. And when we saw that, we were like, you know what, we need to do a well here. They need a well. And after we did get a well there, and the guy he just said, you just helped 4,000 people on that village. So it was just amazing. What you guys have been doing is you have been blessing so many lives, and we're so happy and for your generosity and everything.
Thank you, Katie, for sharing. I want to ask you a couple things while we have you here. It was a long journey getting over to America. And we didn't know, by the way, last minute. I want to thank Alan for making it happen. We didn't know you got to get visa clearance and go through the interview. It
was a lot.
And there was a lot of questions asked on why is Katie coming to America? She's coming to America to help people and share the story of what she's seen in her native land and in her homeland. It's been incredible. So while we have you here, I want to ask you a couple things. You've been working with Alan and Tish for a long time. You grew up in Africa.
Yeah.
Share with us the average person. For those that are watching, we take water for granted. We wake up every day. You know, we leave the shower running for 3 minutes before we get in it because water is something, unfortunately, and my view in this has changed so much the last 5 years. I don't take it for granted, but we take it for granted over here. Will you explain to people, you know, growing up over there in the villages, what is it really like? I got to see it firsthand in May, but I still think there's a lot of people that don't understand the lack of water, the lack of need, the lack of clean water, the disease outbreak because not having clean water. Can you explain a little bit what it's like over there?
You know, getting a clean water over there is like, it's a blessing. As you see, when Martha was saying, it's a miracle water because we don't take it for granted. So it's something like, it's really special, you know, for the kids, for all of us, you know, getting the clean water from you guys. Exactly.
I think one of the offshoot too, and Katie's had a firsthand been able to see this, and this is something that I had to learn more about, and I think the Jacksons and the Harrises really educated Dallin and myself and everybody, and Dallin when he first went over there. But we're doing so much work that's just outside of just drilling a well right there. You're talking about kids going to school more often, education going up, as you saw in the documentary. You're talking about kids that weren't going to school as often that are now going to school, and part of the reason they're going to school is they're bringing water home for their families. You're talking about single mothers over there, that there's no father in the household that had to walk miles to go get water in the middle of the night and in early mornings. You know, I was amazed when I was over there, the people carrying 2 and 3 buckets. I mean, you don't talk about strength, these 120, 30, 40-pound people carrying buckets, literally just walking down dirt roads, carrying buckets of this clean water. So it's the other stuff that's such a blessing as well. The water's the primary thing, and that'll always be our primary thing, but we're improving education. We're helping to fight from a medical standpoint against the, you know, the eradication of all the crazy diseases that come from the waterborne illnesses. And we're providing so much stuff. Alan and you know, Tish got donations from Deer Valley here in Utah of hundreds of jackets and provided them to the kids over there. We've done so much. Nema Village, which you're going to see in a few minutes, has been such a blessing for these babies that are left on the side of the road. So there's so much we're doing. We put a well right there at Nema. We're doing so many things over there, which is just such a amazing blessing. Alan, I want to turn it over to you for a few minutes and give everybody out there an update of what you've been over there twice just recently. You just got back yesterday. Give everybody an update of what we've seen. They know through the last convention, and give them an update the last 4, 5, 6 months. What's happening with Hearts and Hands?
Oh, you bet. So some exciting things are happening. We are currently drilling well number 121 for Vasayo. And this well is in Uganda. We have 9 wells in Uganda right now, the rest of them in Tanzania. But we're on well number 121. It was just incredible, the impact that has had. We've recently just completed our very first well in Malawi. So we're expanding. We currently have 4 drill teams drilling full-time, providing this water for these villages. We are just so excited. And I love what Dallin said. We're just getting started. We've got a long ways to go, and every step is just incredible. And the miracles that we see on a regular basis while we're over there, they just happen so often because the Lord is involved in this work, and this is His work, and we're just so blessed to be a part of it.
121 wells, guys, 400,000 plus men, women, and children being blessed by water. I'm a very visual person, right? So I think about things in numbers and then try to put it into a real life scenario. For, you know, people in America love their football, and I always compare it to a football stadium. 70,000 people at an NFL football stadium, right? 7, 8, 9 football stadiums filled with people, men, women, and children. If you looked at the NFL, you looked at 7 or 8, 9 football stadiums full of people have been blessed by clean drinking water because of Hearts and Hands for Humanity. It's just been an absolute amazing experience. I want to honor Joseph and his work. I want to present him. You know, I want to give credit to Eric Barkle. Eric Barkle and I were talking just recently, and Barkle and I were talking. We want to do something special for Joseph. You know, Joseph donated his time, went over, took literally thousands of photographs, tons of videos. I mean, our entire trip over there, I can remember, you know, being in the moment. We're drilling a well, or we're going to Martha's, or, you know, we're any of our visits, and there's Joseph with a camera up against his eye for, you're talking 12, 14 hours a day for the entire week. And then to take what he did in May and to go over there with Joel and Barkle and my wife and and the entire, 20 plus people, and Alan and Tish and everyone, but to then tell that story is nothing short of incredible. And so we put together a beautiful crystal trophy. We want to honor Joseph Wilkins. I want Barkle to present this to him, and we want to do something to honor him. And at the very top, it says thank you. It's a thank you from Vasayo, a thank you from Hearts and Hands for Humanity. And so we want to do something nice to honor Joseph for all his work. And I would love Joseph to take a few minutes. I saw him over there. A lot of times what people don't say is as powerful as what they say. And I could see Joseph, on one hand, focusing on doing his work, and on the other hand, I could see the emotion flowing through him on a number of occasions while he was in the middle of trying to get the right shot or great videography. I could see the emotions going through Joseph. I want him to take a couple minutes. I want him to share with you what this experience has meant and what has he seen with Hearts and Hands.
Okay, I'm going to get you later for this. I mean, just putting together this documentary, I've been producing videos for 20 years, and I can't think of a single other project that I'm more proud of than what we showed. And it's not because of the work that I've done, it's because of everyone here and a lot of people that are watching that came on that trip. And it was just an amazing, amazing experience that I probably won't ever have again. And I'd like to request two things. Number one, think very, very seriously about going on one of these trips, because it will change your life, absolutely change your life. When I finished this documentary, which was literally this week, I showed it to my wife, and after I showed it, I was mad, because I said to her, as good as this is, it still doesn't capture what you'll feel if you go yourself and see the incredible work that this company is enabling. And so the first challenge is go experience the real thing. The second thing is this has been a lot of work. For 6 months, we've been working on this. And so I plead with you to share it. Don't let it stop here. This will only touch the number of people's lives and make all the work that has gone into us. It'll only be worth it if you now share it with everyone that you know, so that they can catch the vision. And the best way to help these people is to raise awareness, and please share it with other people. But I also want to thank Vasayo for allowing me to do this. Yes, I volunteered my time, but they made it possible financially. And like I said, it's been the honor of my career to be able to be involved in this project. So thank you, guys.
You're welcome. And thank you again, Joseph, and for all your hard work. I want to hear from Tish Jackson. I want to say this too, and I want to recognize Tish in front of everybody. She's probably saying, oh, don't call me out. I don't want to have to say anything, but I want her to. And I want to say this. She's got a heart as big as gold. And there's been a number of times where Alan's had to travel over to Africa the last few years, and been over there for a couple weeks. And as Dallin talks about with our brand partners, there's always somebody behind them supporting them, and a spouse that gets unrecognized. Same thing with our scientific advisory board, as Dallin mentioned earlier. There's spouses that are behind these doctors that spend their time volunteering. It's the same thing with Hearts and Hands for Humanity. There's been a number of trips where Tish is back at home with their kids. They've got a beautiful family. And there's been a number of trips like the one that they just came off of, where Tish is able to join Alan. And I want her to take a couple minutes and just talk about what she's seen over the last couple years with Hearts and Hands for Humanity.
Thank you. My heart is just full, and I hope that I'll be able to express to you exactly how I feel. But as you can see, this is the Lord's work. And when the Lord says, go and do, you go and do. And so when Alan's heading over, I know it's the Lord's work. And so I know that we'll be blessed here at home. We started out on this project, and we had a 10-year-old boy at the time, and we were talking about whales in Africa. And he was so cute. He goes, Mom, how is there whales in Africa? Aren't they supposed to be in the ocean? And so at the time, we had to educate him that the whales were different whales than the ones in the ocean. So we always kid him about that he's actually been over himself and seen the whales being created over there. But we have enjoyed this time. We've been so blessed to be able to do this with Connie and Verlin. A big shout out to them. Connie wanted to say that she misses each and every one of you, and she wishes that she was here as well as Verlin. We pray for them at this time. We couldn't be there here without them and their love that they started with this project. But Vasayo is everything. We go over there with our hearts and hands shirts, and they'll say, oh, Vasayo's here, Vasayo's here. What an impact you guys have made being with Vasayo. And we are so blessed to be here with each and every one of you. And if I can go on a trip, anybody can go on a trip. So we'd love for you guys to join us on this experience.
I love that. I was so surprised being over there, how many people recognize the Vasayo name. It's so surprising. We're all nodding our heads because I was so surprised about that. You know, we think Vasayo, US, Canada, and our wonderful Asian brand, you know, Japan and China and Asia, but here we are in the middle of Africa and Tanzania. And oh, Vasayo, you're with Vasayo. Vasayo, yeah, we know Vasayo. Isn't that amazing? You know, the drill team has on Vasayo shirts, gray or blue shirts that have been donated. And so many people know who Vasayo are. And when they see you and they see you're from America and you've got Vasayo stuff on, there's a commonality, there's a bond right there just from seeing Vasayo. So I absolutely love that. I want to hear from our creative director, Eric Barkle. Most of you guys know him for putting his hands and fingerprints on anything to do with the creative aspect of Vasayo. But he was over on the trip, as I mentioned, with Joel, Mitchell, and myself, and 20 plus people in May. I want him to share for a couple minutes his experience. I know he was a changed man. And I got to say this, when Dallin first told me, Daniel, go over to Africa, you'll never come back the same. I had traveled quite a bit, and I thought, oh, this is going to be another great trip. I'm telling you, when at the end of the documentary, when Alan and Tish say the greatest thing you can do is come over and see this firsthand, and when Joseph, I think, just summed it up perfectly. He said there's nothing. He says he was mad, you know, after showing his wife. He says, as a beautiful piece this is, it doesn't portray actually being over there. It's like being, you know, somewhere in person, then trying to explain what you experienced. The emotions, the sounds, the senses, the smells, the kids, the smiles, the laugh, the joy, the thank yous for bringing water to their village. Nothing can replace that. And I want Eric Barkle to share with you a little bit of his experience going over there.
Oh, thank you for putting me on the spot, Daniel. Sorry, I'm emotional about this one. Africa, that trip, this documentary, going over to Africa and seeing these children and being part of donating money for a roof for Martha. Yeah, changed my life. Seeing these children being so grateful for water. The simplest thing that we take for granted, as Daniel said. And boy, these kids, I've heard you say it many times, Tish, these kids, if you wear a bracelet, they want it.
Yeah.
If you're wearing a baseball cap, they want it. And it's because they don't have it. And being over there with these brand partners, Daniel, oh my gosh, we witnessed them giving everything that they had. Even if they could, the shirts off their backs to these kids because they're so touched. It was truly the most amazing branding, marketing, whatever kind of project you want to call it. It was the most amazing thing I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Ever.
It was an amazing...
changed my life forever.
Amazing opportunity. Thank you, Barkle. And yeah, Barkle's right. It's you get little Smarties, you know, the little candies, little Smarties. I had Smarties one morning, and that was a mistake because I only had 10 or 12 of them, you know, and I said, hey, do you want a Smartie? And suddenly there's a group of 40 to 50 kids that want a Smartie, and I was Smartied out after about 30 seconds. Katie's laughing because she watched me, and I'd pull out bracelets, and then there's this group of kids, and every one of them smiling, and they're laughing.
Comes Katie to help you.
There's Katie saying, oh, back up, back up. It's fantastic. All the love and joy and laughter and what we're doing is absolutely amazing. We're going to share with you guys just a couple slides of our recent trip in May, and then we're going to put up a site. It's VasayoWells.com, guys. Write it down. We'll have it up in a minute, VasayoWells.com. It's very simple. You can go on there and give. I want to share with you a few photos from our trip in May, share with you a very short 60-second video, and then we're going to put up the site for the date with the next trips with Alan's email address if you want to reach out. There's only about 10 spots left for the next trip in April. Dallin's going to be on that trip. Alan, that's going to be a fantastic trip. in April. Don't miss that. Be one of the 10 people to get on that trip. And then we'll put up the Vasayo Well site so you guys have the web address where to go to donate, to give, whether you give $1, whether you give $20, whether you give, by the way, $1 for every box of coffee goes to Hearts and Hands for Humanity, as we talked about yesterday. So any purchases of coffee, you're donating $1. We are donating $1 directly to Hearts and Hands for Humanity. But we'll put up the site with the trip. We'll put up the site for the give. And then we're going to roll in, guys, to Prayer of the Children. And I'd encourage everybody out there, give whatever you can. Stretch a little bit. Give whatever you feel comfortable to give. But I want to share with you guys a few pictures of our trip from Africa. Greatest memories, it was awesome. Joseph, when he was making the documentary, brought a drone over to Africa. And these kids, you would have thought it was a spaceship landing. They'd never seen anything like it. I remember Katie running out and having to get the drone on a number of occasions because the thing would take off and there was literally a couple hundred kids yelling at this drone, and then it would land and all the kids wanted to see, what is this thing, remember?
Yeah, they were trying to grab the,
they were trying to grab it.
The blades was still spinning.
And Katie would run out there and get it. Guys, what an amazing, they sung that song as a thank you. We built a well in that village, and they sung us a thank you song, and we wanted to share that with everybody. Guys, the next trip, April 10th through the 18th of April. The slide's up here. Alan at heartsandhandsforhumanity.org. If you guys want to go on the trip, we want you on there. I encourage you to get on the trip. If you can't make on the April trip, there will be another one this summer or fall. Alan will give us more information about that when the time is fitting. But I would encourage you, get over there as quick as possible. The next slide, guys, is VasayoWells.com. Can't preface this enough. We can't do the work without the generosity of our customers, our brand partners, our leadership. We've had people donate $1, $5, $10. We've had people donate wells. We've had brand partners donate multiple wells. Whoever you are out there, thank you for that. Whoever has donated over the last few years, thank you. We are at 121 wells, as you heard Alan say. That is amazing. My personal goal, and I know Dallin's personal goal, we want to get to 1,000 wells. And that's a big stretch to get from 121 to 1,000. But I can tell you this, we're going to do it, period. We're going to go out there and do it. We're going to bless Katie and all of the people over in Africa with clean drinking water. So VasayoWells.com, guys. We're going to roll into the give. That's going to last a few minutes. You stay in front of your computers as long as you're comfortable. We're going to roll into Prayer of the Children and have a give and have what Dallin and I believe to be a spiritual moment as we're doing amazing work over in Africa. We're going to come back at 2 o'clock Mountain Time. You can log back in before then so you're on time. 2 o'clock Mountain Time, we're going to start into the next session here at the Vasayo Virtual Conference. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. Thanks, everyone.
Can you hear the prayer of the children abandoned me in the shadow of an unknown room? Empty eyes with no more tears to cry, turning heavenward toward the light, crying, Jesus, help me to see the morning light of one more day. But if I should die before I wake, I pray my soul today. hearts of the children aching for home, for something of their very own, reaching hands with nothing to hold on to, but hope for a better day, a better day. Crying, Jesus, help me to feel the love again in my own land. But if unknown roads lead away from home, give me loving arms. Crying, Jesus, help me to feel the sun again upon my face. For when darkness clears, I know you're near, bringing peace again. Can you hear the prayer of the children on bended knee in the shadow of an unknown room? Empty eyes with no more tears to cry, turning heavenward toward the light. Crying, Jesus, help me to see the morning light of one more day. But if I should die before I wake, I pray my soul to take. Can you feel the hearts of the children aching for home, for something of their very own, reaching hands with nothing to hold on to, but hope for a better day, a better day. Crying, Jesus, help me to feel the love again in my own land. But if unknown roads lead away from home, give me loving arms. Crying, Jesus, help me to feel the sun again upon my face. For when darkness clears, I know you're near, bringing peace again. Can you hear the prayer of the children on bended knee in the shadow of an unknown room? Empty eyes with no more tears to cry, turning heavenward toward the light. Crying, Jesus, help me to see the morning light of one more day. But if I should die before I wake, I pray my soul to take. Can you feel the hearts of the children aching for home, for something of their very own, reaching hands with nothing to hold on to, but hope for a better day, a better day. Crying, Jesus, help me to feel the love again in my own land. But if unknown roads lead away from home, give me Crying, Jesus, help me to feel the sun again upon my face. For when darkness clears, I know you're near, bringing peace again. Can you hear the prayer of the children on bended knee in the shadow of an unknown room? Empty eyes with no more tears to cry, turning heavenward toward the light. Crying, Jesus, help me to see the morning light of one more day. But if I should die before I wake, I pray my soul to take. Can you feel the hearts of the children aching for home, for something of their very own, reaching hands with nothing to hold on to, but hope for a better day, a better day. Crying, Jesus, help me to feel the love again in my own land. But if unknown roads lead away from home, give me loving arms. Can you feel the hearts of the children aching for home, for something of their very own, reaching hands with nothing to hold on to, but hope for a better day, a better day. Crying, Jesus, help me to feel the love again in my own land. But if unknown roads lead away from home, give me loving arms. Crying, Jesus, help me to feel the sun again upon my face. For when darkness clears, I know you're near, bringing peace again. Dali czujete, swe modlitwę. Can you hear the prayer of the children?